But why self-heal and not with the help of an expert? But you mentioned coaching.
So I've been through therapy 3 times. I've had quite a bit of trauma in my past, and I've come to terms with a lot of that stuff. I didn't feel it was a therapeutic question because the most of the therapies that I had been involved in were all about going back to childhood, and I
Mhm.
had been through that. And my thing is more about what can I do
Yeah.
versus what happened to me. I'm very aware of what happened to me, and I'm very, to be honest, grateful of what happened to me. And I've framed that my traumas are the underlying reasons why I am who I am. And if I were to undo those traumas, I wouldn't be who I am today. So I need to thank my parents and all the things that happened to me to realize that's how I became me. And so I learned to forgive my dad and cherish my mother even more. But I didn't feel like the past is where I needed to go. It was more about being in the present and learning how to navigate the present with the notion of what is the future, because I realized that the first parts of my transformation were really about, I was a very goal-oriented and driven person into my 50s. And ultimately, I could always achieve whatever I set out to do. But I realized that there is way more opportunity for me if I just stop trying, because there's stuff right in front of me. And so the moment that I was very afraid, but I gave up on just saying like, all right, let's let this stuff come to me as opposed to me going to it. And now I'm doing almost 4 times the work. I'm working half the time. I'm doing all the work I love to do. And so for me, I feel retired, even though I've done 2 startups, I've written a book, I got another book I'm working on, I got a big research project, and I got 10 clients. That's not retirement for most people, but that's what it is for me.
There's a lot of wisdom in what you mentioned, and as a therapist myself, I totally agree with you that going back to childhood sometimes is just not necessary.
And I would say I visited it enough. I didn't even know I had the trauma.
Yeah.
So I think there's some value in being able to identify it and name it. But the reality is just revisiting it over and over again doesn't help me.